We're live. It is day 4 out here. We recorded on day 1, the last podcast, but for this specific episode here, which if you're listening to the audio version, we will have a video version over on YouTube. So if you want to see our smiling faces and the beautiful Alaska landscape, I'd recommend heading over to YouTube and checking that out. My YouTube channel is just Beau Martonik. Check that out and we'll be rolling there. But for this episode, we're just going to focus on the day 1 and 2 of hunting. So which would be 2 and 3 of the trip. Because last time that we left off, we'd just gotten into camp, kind of just, went through it. And quite a few things have happened since then. And I'm joined back by Justin Mueller, who is a filmmaker, photographer, extraordinaire, everything else you want to throw into the mix.
That's a little much. We'll just stick with photographer for right now.
Okay, we'll go with that. And so he's been on here before, filmed the elk hunt last year. And then my lifelong buddy and hunting partner, Michael Paladino.
So, we'll go with that one then too.
Yeah. So we're going to, kind of give a little bit of a recap. And it's going to, like I said, a lot of things have happened in the last few days, but we finally got a chance to sit down and podcast. I say that finally got a chance, but we've had, we have like 20 hours of daylight, so there's really no excuse in why we haven't,
We have been busy.
We have been busy.
We've been busy.
We haven't sat around a whole lot.
Unless if it's pouring down rain.
Yeah, that's really about it, which the Alaskan weather has definitely come at us. Full bore rain gear is not just recommended, it's a necessity.
Wind.
Yeah.
Wind.
Cold.
Sun. Heat.
Cold mornings, especially until that sun comes up.
Yeah.
Fog.
We
only got like 6 foot of visibility 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been kind of, actually last 2 days, it's been pretty incredible. Like this morning was the first morning that cleared up.
Bugs.
Bugs.
Oh, man.
Relative early. Michael's running the thermocell while we're doing this podcast here, so.
Keeping it.
Yeah, trying to get the mist over this way. Appreciate that. But anyways, so I wanted to start by recapping. As soon as we finished the last podcast, literally finished, closed everything up, we spotted our first caribou.
Yep.
At 4.1 miles directly behind us. Way up there on the very top.
Which,
yeah. Go ahead.
No, it's funny to think that we're like, if that's tomorrow, we're going to get them.
Yeah. So, the caribou hunt, kind of our expectations were, and from what we'd heard is, you don't leave camp you don't go very far. Like, that was kind of what we were told. Actually, we were instructed not to go further than 2 miles from camp.
Except the first thing our air pilot said, you guys look like you can get over that mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
He did say that, which that mountain was 2 miles away.
Yeah,
2.1.
We had a good laugh about that.
Yeah. So we're like, okay, put us in the spot expecting us to hike. So, we'll do that. We wanted a mountain caribou hunt and spotting these ones literally as high as you could possibly get, way above the tundra, way above, I should say tree line, but everything's above tree line here. There's no trees. But
1,800 feet on that hilltop.
Yeah. And so, above, even where we're at now, they were up there a ways. Let's put it that way. And I spotted them through my 9-power Mavens, just like as specks on the skyline. Then pulled out the spotters and were able to see some nice bulls.
Yeah, 2 good bulls out of 3, but all 3 bulls.
Yep.
So it made us happy to see that.
So we were able to go to bed that night, pretty excited. And actually, right before we went to bed, we had, I think it was the first night, the Arctic fox.
Yep.
That visited us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right there. Yep.
You guys were glassing. I was just kind of standing over here somewhere. And I looked down, and it was, 40 yards?
Yeah.
And it was just this, beautiful, it was probably a little bit bigger than a red fox. But it was just this beautiful black coat, and the end 2 inches of its tail was, snow white. It was just a really cool-looking animal.
Yeah, and I've never seen anything like that. And it was just cool.
We definitely called it an Arctic fox.
Yeah, but it could be anything.
I'm pretty sure you're right. Because it's not white, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But it was a beautiful animal.
Yeah.
I would relate it to a fox.
It was a fox.
Yeah.
Of sorts.
Of sorts.
If they have a silver fox up here,
I don't know. We put.
Wait, is that a lady or something? I might do that out there, but yeah, that's where it was. Is that color right there?
And we've So we've taken every single animal that we've seen that we don't know what it is, and we put the word Arctic in front of it, and that's what we describe it
Even the
as.
grizzly bears, Arctic grizzly
Arctic
bears.
Grizzlies.
Yeah. Which, so anyways, we went to bed that night with some high hopes, even though the caribou were way far away. We're like, oh, they'll work their way down to the bottom by tomorrow, for sure. Well, next morning, first thing we spot, I'm like, this happens a couple times, but caribou up on the saddle, like, about 2 miles away, a little less on this side of it. No, giant grizzly bear.
Well, no, that wasn't the first day.
That was the first. That was the first morning.
Okay.
The first morning we hunted, we saw there were 2 grizzlies actually.
Yeah.
Yep.
You might have spotted that first.
They're the 2 up here because you were spotting caribou. I'm like, yo, there's 2 grizzly bears right there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
that's right.
happened. And yeah, so we had 2 grizzlies and watching them dig up the blueberries, and I don't know if they're actually called blueberries here or what they are.
Arctic blueberries.
Arctic blueberries. So they were digging them up, and pretty good sized bear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
And we had seen the bear tracks here along the creek, and now we've actually since then have seen bear shit everywhere around camp, including in camp. Yep. But so that was cool to see. Right before that, Justin said, "I want to see a grizzly bear," and right away saw that.
And then a fog rolled in, so we had no idea where it went.
Yeah,
I lost it.
Yeah.
still don't. And then the fog rolls out, and all of a sudden, caribou pop up directly again at that saddle where our pilot said that we should be willing to hike to. And these caribou bedded on top of this giant cliff face on our side in the wide open. And I don't know how many.
There's only like moss up there.
Yeah.
There's really nothing to eat. There's no water. I don't see a reason for them to be there.
I mean, for lack of a better term, it's just a rock face.
Yeah.
That they're up on. Like you said, there's nothing. It's just rocks.
In the wind, in the rain. I mean, there's no cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the sun too, when it's nice out. They're just
Yeah.
up there, baking in the sun.
Yeah. So we were watching them, and we're trying to make like, all right, we're gonna play this like if it was like a mule deer bedded, we're gonna hunt them. So we went up on the hill kind of behind us and skirted up. I don't know. We did that 2-mile trek up through there, and what's crazy is when you're down in the bottom looking up, it looks like it's this nice wide open tundra with some different colors going up. In reality, those different colors are alders and willow bushes that are well over the height of us. They could be 8-10 foot tall in places, and it was thick.
Right where the grizzly bear was, too.
So, we walked right towards where the grizzly was an hour or so before that, where if we lost in the fog. So, kind of on high alert. I got the bear spray here on my side. Even currently, I got it sitting here, and we were kind of ready to go. I let Michael go first, and feel out
Just
the way.
in case.
Yeah, I was ready to rip.
So we tried not to skyline ourselves, and we stayed on the bottom side of the caribou, popping up every once in a while, checking out, still bedded. Did this big loop around, got on the very top of the ridge, all through these rocks. And it reminded me, I know it isn't exactly, but it reminded me if we were to be like sheep hunting or something, the type of terrain we go through, just rock screes coming down the side, just incredible. And then we got hit by a good storm.
Oh, yeah.
Like high winds blowing, had full rain gear on, just getting hit by even a little bit of hail. It was pretty nasty. And we snuck up to where the caribou should have been on the other side, expecting this epic shot from above. We're supposed to hunt tundra caribou, and we're hunting in the mountains, and they weren't there.
Yeah, it would have been like a 100-yard shot. I mean, we were getting in close and crested the last ridge to be looking down onto them in their beds, and I'm looking at the bed, and I was like, they're not here.
Yeah.
And we looped around a little bit, back and forth, up and down, all clear.
Yeah, to
Couldn't see 'em.
kind of paint that picture a little better too. We almost hunted them like you would hunt a bedded mule deer.
Oh yeah.
We spotted them from down here, made a play, came up and around on top of them, expecting to be up on the cliff as they're in the saddle or wherever
wind
they were
the
bedded.
right way. Made
Yep.
sure we looped with the wind.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
So we had, so anyways, we did that and didn't find them. We're like, all right, they could have went one of two ways. And we expected that they went on the back side of the mountain because that was the most likely as far as the way the terrain laid out for them to go. The front side was all cliffs and just difficult. Gnarly.
Mm-hmm.
So we went around the back side and just kept hiking, and we weren't finding them. We were just going and going and going and not finding them. And at this point, we were, I don't know, 4.5, 5 miles away from camp. Again, not what you're supposed to do.
Double the distance we're supposed to be.
And then I go, Michael, we got a caribou.
No. Beau goes, did you glass everything? I said, as far as I want to walk. And Beau's like, so you didn't glass everything? I said, no, just down to here. He pulls his binoculars up and throws it right on a bull. He goes, there's one right there. I was like, oh my goodness, that's at least another 1.5 miles.
Oh, no, I bet it was another 3 miles away from where we were.
Yeah, it was a long way.
So we're putting about 7 miles away from camp at this point. We're told not to go past 2 miles. He's like, we got to keep. Those other caribou had to went around the front face, around the cliffs. Like, we're gonna loop around and come back towards camp, but we have to run into them. There's no other way they could go. So we ran around, and we did.
But we came back up over the top. Instead of going around, we kind of came back over the top.
That was a pretty, intense hike because everything was soaked, and it was a pretty good angle, like you said, kind of sheep country, and it was all rocks and shale, and we were just kind of trying to...
And the grass is moss, which doesn't hold on to anything.
Yeah, I mean, everything was slick, very slick.
Yeah, so we were just sliding, on the side of the mountain there, trying to get through, got around, and then Michael, I think, picked up some caribou down on the bottom, a couple bulls, and we saw one bed down.
Yeah, right on that front face of the castle.
The castle, and we thought we could. I mean, it was a perfect spot to stalk. Essentially, I mean, we could get up on the top, come down from above, and shoot them. So that's kind of what we did. And on the way, we did spot some other caribou.
Yeah, we did. We saw 2 big groups
between our 4 mile way in camp, and that's where that group went. They ended up going off the front, from what we could assume. And we were spotting caribou all over, but nothing close.
Oh, yeah, we saw probably a couple up over here, a couple down that way, a good ways, a couple right halfway to camp. And then we even spotted them
on the backside,
2 miles on the other side of camp.
And there was a good amount of bulls, if I remember right, too, right?
A lot.
Yeah.
I wasn't spotting much. I was filming you guys, but it sounds like you were seeing a lot of bulls all over the place.
Yeah, we definitely were. And so we just kept, pushing and went around. We put the stalk on that one, and Michael was up to shoot. And
I didn't play the wind because I didn't think I needed to.
Yeah.
I definitely took a half-assed route for sure.
But we also were a little bit off on where that bull was bedded because it's so difficult to be able to see. And this is where we, could have got maybe a little bit better by, say, using Onyx from up above and kind of pinpointing where it was and trying to work towards it.
So hard to pinpoint in tundra.
But it's so hard because, everything looks...
What are you going to do, find the bush it's laying by?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, what are you going to use?
So we ended up getting above it, and we jumped the bull out of its bed. How far away do you think he was?
It was 150 when he jumped.
Yeah.
And his first stop was like 270.
It was right at 270.
Yeah,
I remember that.
and Michael's like,
It was offhand. I was like, too far for me.
It's too far. And I was like, I'm gonna try it. So I ran around the corner, slammed my pack on the ground, got a solid rest. I was like, give me that range again. Was he out even further at that point?
I think he was a little bit further. I don't know the number. I'm going to say 360, but it was less than 400.
I remember when the second range, like the first shot, second range was almost 100 yards farther. Because I remember thinking, holy shit, these things can cover ground.
Yeah.
By no means was he like sprinting
We
away
went
from
10
us.
yards and he went 100.
Yeah, he was just like trotting away, kind of looking back, doing his thing, and he covered, 10 yards to our one.
Yeah.
Literally. You know.
So anyways, I got in a position. Michael called out the range. I felt super solid. Touched one off, and what?
You misfired.
Oh, yeah.
That's why the story's getting the way it's going.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, I misfired. I didn't have one in the chamber because we were traveling without one in the chamber, and I forgot to rack it. Everything just hit so fast, the commotion, and I completely on me,
So then that messed you up, I think.
Yeah, and I was like, flustered. So I ran another one in, or ran the first one in, and got it on them. Had my dope chart built from my buddy who's a Navy SEAL sniper. He built this for me. It's accurate. I've shot out, past that and felt comfortable with it. Touched one off, and I hit low, didn't I?
I'm 99% sure that I saw it go like a good bit under his belly, but not like crazy. You know, because I'm watching it, and it just got done raining, so I could see a pretty good vapor trail as it got out further.
Yeah.
So, but it was pretty cool.
And so I was like, at that point, I didn't know if I
thought
missed
you hit
him.
it.
I thought I hit him.
Yep.
So he jumps out another couple 100 yards, and I can't hear anybody around me. I had my hearing protection in, but I was just in the zone, so I wasn't hearing anything. I just yelled back to Michael, "Give me a range," and he yells like 5-something.
Yeah, it was like
and I'm like, this is a
580.
little out of my range, but if I hit this caribou, I need to put him down.
Yeah.
So, and I thought I did. And so I shot again, and I missed, and I was like, you know, whatever. And he runs out again, and I'm in the zone at this
And he's
point.
getting ready to shoot, and I'm like, dude, enough. Cut.
Yeah.
And
And
I'm
I'm
like, what do you
like-
mean I hit it?
And I was like, give me a range. And he's like, 918 yards. I was like, I said, give me a range. I'm feeling good. And he goes, 918 yards. I was like, oh, no.
He goes, I feel good. I was like, dude, it's 918. You're good. You're done.
Yeah, and he goes, you didn't hit it. You didn't hit it 100% confirmed. Like, you did not hit that bull. And then I'm like, oh, why am I even trying? I thought I hit him.
He goes,
And
I feel good.
That's the best part of the whole story. After missing 2 shots on the third one at 900 yards, I'm feeling good. Give me a range.
and I didn't shoot. For that,
I feel
but-
good.
So,
Oh, we joked about that so much.
and anyways, we're like, well, it's probably smart. I mean,
Tweedledee and Tweedledum are sitting at 45-degree angle of this gun
Yeah.
and just getting pelted with the muzzle blast because he has a muzzle brake on.
yeah.
And we're over there like hiding. He's just shooting and shooting. Oh, that was funny.
So, anyways, we realized that it was probably a blessing in disguise. I mean, at that point, that bull was close to 5 miles away by the time he got
Oh.
down there. We were 4.5 miles at least,
Yeah.
you know, where I shot. And it was like,
Wasn't
okay.
a giant, but he is a good depiction of a good caribou.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't a giant bull by any means, but he had the frame. He looked okay, you know. That's
Nothing that stuck out, but nothing that wasn't caribou.
yeah.
Yep, exactly.
So definitely a bull. We confirmed that, and then just kept moving on. We're like, okay, and we spotted some others, and never really got a play.
Mhm.
Then the rest of the day,
No.
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 We spotted them pretty far out. Like
We
there
did
was the
see
ones
that
over
real
here.
big bull over here.
Yeah, but
That
he was
was a
working
nice
his way
bull.
away from us, and he was already 2 miles.
Which I think he was the big bull up on top.
could have been.
Like, because there was one significant bull up on top, and we couldn't find him in the bottom. And then all of a sudden, a big bull popped up over here behind us.
I wouldn't be surprised if our commotion up there pushed him straight down into the valley.
Oh, we caused a commotion.
Yeah.
And then he just went right up the.
When the 300 rang, you could hear that for at least 7-8 miles. So it
That's confirmed.
Yeah.
so we kept moving, and we ended up going down. We're like, we're not walking through this tundra and alders as far as we have to, so we shortcut to the creek and walked the rocky creek the whole way back, and just got kind of soaked because we were going back and forth having to cross, and got back to camp that night. And was there anything I'm missing in between there?
We saw nothing that night.
No, but other than the fact that we did almost basically 8.5 miles that day, and we were told not to go over 2. So
On day one.
On day
of the
one.
trip, we went for a good hike.
I was like, I think there's something everyone keeps saying about being patient. You know, we just kept pushing, and I'm like, and we wanted that. Like, all of us wanted like this mountain type hunt with it, and didn't think we were gonna get it. Like, that's what I had envisioned in my mind is what that hunt was, and we did it. We had a freaking blast. We joked about it when we got back.
And when you're hiking up on the top of this stuff, these mountains are different because there's no like tree line. You don't get above a tree line. It's just a different scenario up there because it's so rocky and so vast, and so you're not getting the little creeks that are running out like you get in Rocky Mountains. You're not just coming across a part of a big opening. Like everything's open, and everything is like pretty jagged rock scree and moss. So it's a pretty cool place. I mean, I haven't hiked in mountains like that really.
No, I haven't either. They're
It's
very
pretty cool.
different.
No, it was yeah, it was epic. Like, I can't wait to see the footage, like when Justin puts together the film, because it was just so cool. Like, the environment we were in. Like, I was on cloud 9, you know, the whole time. Just like it was so much
Views were
fun.
just unbeatable.
Yeah.
Big rainbow that ended right on our hill.
Yeah.
Went over into the valley. That was pretty cool. I mean, it was just a cool place.
Yeah. There was nothing I would change about that encounter. So day 2, we had some high expectations, like the day 2 of hunting, which would be day 3 of the trip. But at the same time, we were a little bit concerned with how none of the caribou were anywhere near camp, and we were definitely going to have to work for them. Mm-hmm. And that, again, that's not anything we weren't up against tasking. It was just changing your mindset on kind of what you expected to happen. And I think we did a great job of that. And the next day, planned on, so it gets dark at like 11:30 at night and starts getting light at 4 in the morning. So Michael, you had your alarm set that time, and we were fogged in till 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
No, like 9:30, 10.
Yeah.
That was late.
Yeah, it was getting late.
Like when I say fogged in, like you couldn't even see the creek, which is 80 yards from us. It was just incredibly just dense fog. So we had to do nothing but wait. And
the bottom up opened up before anything else down this way.
Yep.
And Beau woke me up. He's like, hey, it's starting to get light. I was like, okay. So I crawled out at like 9:15.
Yeah.
So that's how I know it was after that.
Yeah.
So I crawled out of bed late and got ready.
Yeah. And then that was a slow day. Like we didn't see anything for a while. And then we decided in the afternoon to hike, I don't know, about a half mile, if that, down the way to get a better vantage point and try to see into this other valley. Michael, you took a hike by yourself, kind of up. Well, as we were getting there, it was nice all day after that fog, nothing. We decided to go out, take a hike, and get pelted by
we're
an
only 600 yards away from camp.
Yeah.
And we just got smoked out of nowhere. I mean, we're only 600 yards, and all of a sudden, just a flash storm.
And it was a heavy rain.
Oh, my goodness.
Heavy rain.
Yeah, not good.
Good thing you had that tarp with.
Yeah. So I got a 10 by 12 Sitka flash tarp, and that thing has paid its dividends, like just on this trip.
Oh, yeah.
It can set up with 2 trekking poles, but we set up with both sets of Michael's and I. So we have 4 trekking poles. I got 4 MSR Cyclone stakes, which are big long ones that go into the ground. Some paracord that comes with the tarp. We set that up, fit all 3 of us in there.
There's like 20 ways to set those tents up, or those tarps up, and we just set up probably the most basic to give us the most room.
Yeah.
We're not trying to be really like good with the wind, or we're trying to have the most room.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty quick.
Yeah. So at first, though, when we went to set it up, we didn't set it up. We just crawled underneath it and got pelted by rain.
Yeah, we sat under it with it just wrapped around all of us, except for the back of you, Michael. You got pretty wet.
I just had it around my waist and up, so my whole legs were just getting...
I felt bad because after you said, like, hey, you're kind of taking it from me, I looked down and I had like 8 inches under my feet, and I just kept like pulling it. And I didn't know you didn't have a lot.
That was good.
And so anyways, we got the tarp set up, and Michael took a little jaunt, didn't see anything, and it wasn't until 8 or 9 o'clock at night, probably.
Yeah, it
maybe,
was late.
That all of a sudden on the, you
This
spotted.
is when you said, oh, there's caribou up top. That's when you said that. And I was like, no, it's a grizzly bear.
Yeah, that was I think that was the second grizzly we saw the day before.
I agree.
Probably.
I agree. That one there and that one was the
So
same.
he was up there, and we were watching him through your Maven spotter at 50 power, just watching him dig up blueberries, jump around. Oh, it was so cool to watch these bears in their just natural environment, not bothered by nothing. They couldn't see us, he couldn't see us, and just watching them. And all of a sudden, up above them, about, I don't know how far elevation it was above them, but above this rock cliff, all these caribou started coming across the skyline. Again, as high as you could possibly get. These caribou were running. There were some big bulls in the group.
Yeah, there's 2 different groups that went through there.
Yeah.
And they were a long ways away.
Yeah.
Yeah, another 4 mile thing is what Onyx
Plus
said.
the half mile that we were already away from camp.
Yeah.
Plus elevation, because we kind of figured there was good ones in there, but we were like, even if we left right now and they stayed there, we won't make it before dark.
Yeah. Yep.
And obviously they wouldn't have stayed right there. They were moving through, but...
And to be smart about it, like, we're not going to go, shoot one right before dark or 2 and then have to worry about the grizzly that was just right there having to take care of the meat. We don't want to leave the meat there overnight and risk the grizzly taking it. So we're like, it's just smart if we got time. Let's go back to camp and let's, glass in the morning and kind of get things figured out. So that's kind of how day 2 of hunting went, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good first 2 days.
Yeah.
We got to see some awesome country. Still did get to see a bunch of caribou. We saw about 24 the first day and about 8 the second day.
Yeah.
Nothing close to us. Well, one.
Yeah.
But nothing real close to us.
No.
Nothing close to camp.
Yeah, not even close to camp. And, that was a little bit concerning at the time, but it was, again, from our expectations of it. And we actually had a group of guys that we met, or we talked about on the first podcast from Colorado, and they texted Justin on the inReach, and they're like, first day, doubled out, bulls, caribou everywhere. We're like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that was
there's
not the
caribou
case
everywhere here.
Yeah.
The only reason we can see them is because we can see for 10 miles. Like, that's how we're finding them.
And I didn't think they were packing what we had for optics power.
No.
I don't think so either.
So he said they were everywhere. I might be mistaken. He might have a something crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, but anyways, our expectations, and we weren't really sure what to do. And when we got dropped off, our pilot's like, hey, if you guys aren't seeing anything in 3 or 4 days, text us from the inReach and we'll come and move you. And that kind of sat in the back of my mind, like, are we in a bad place, or did he just say this to everybody?
Yeah.
And
it's not something you want to hear.
No.
Especially when you have 20 days or 20 hours of the day awake and you're not seeing stuff, you're like, and he said this, and he also told us to go more than 2 miles. So you start adding up things that you might not have ever had to add up in the first place.
Yeah.
It was just things you had to talk about and think about.
Yeah, not to mention, too, if we did move, that whole day is shot because we can't hunt on the same day we fly, so we'd burn a day of the trip.
Yep.
That weighed heavy.
That's so true. So anyways, we're coming into day 3, which is today as we're recording this. And anything else you want to add before we go into the next episode of that?
No,
I think
that was pretty good chain of events that we listed off there for 2 days.
Yeah, we covered it quicker than I thought we would.
Yeah. I don't think we're missing anything, though.
No. So I guess, a good recap is we got into some caribou there, and, difficult hiking. Weather is what you'd expect from Alaska, what we had heard.
Tundra is tundra.
Yeah.
Everybody that described tundra, which I'm not going to do because everyone does it, it is that, plus some. Yep. The weather is everything they say it is. And it's an awesome place, though, all in all.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's everything we said that might be a negative is definitely cool.
It just makes it part of the whole entire thing, that's...
Yeah, it's part of the Alaska experience. Like, you hear people say, oh, it's probably going to rain a lot. Well, so far, we've been here 3 days. It's rained a lot.
Bring a tent that you can weather a storm in, and bring a tarp that you can weather a rainstorm in.
Yep.
Like, you want to weather a heck of a storm, get in your tent. If you want to weather a quick rainstorm, get under the tarp.
Yep, for sure. Well, I think with that, we'll end this episode. And I'm going to tell you should probably look at listening to the next one or watching the next one, because we got some pretty exciting things that happened here.
It was definitely a good day.
Yeah. Today, some things changed, so we will cover that in the next episode. And thanks for watching and or listening.